Hey guys, I thought I would bring you along with me as I bake this cake. I'm about to bake a whipping cream pound cake. So the things I will need: 3 cups of cake flour. I used the Swan. Also, I will need 3 cups of sugar. I used the Domino. I'm just a fan of Dominoes when I am baking. I will need 2.5 sticks of butter. I just have the Great Value brand butter. Usually I get the, Land O'Lakes, but I didn't this time. But anyway, I'm going to need some baking powder. I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a half a tablespoon of the Crisco shortening, a half a teaspoon of salt. Sorry for being out of the camera. And 5 eggs. Here are my eggs. A half a pint of the whipping cream, and I just have the Great Value brand, and 1 tablespoon of the vanilla. So that's it for the cake. Then I have my measuring utensils. I'm going to sift. I have my measuring spoons here, and I have measuring cup there. And for the frosting, I'm going to use this Domino confection sugar, the entire box, 1 8-ounce Philadelphia cream cheese, and some vanilla flavoring again. I hope you can see that. Okay, stay tuned. And of course, I'm going to use my mixer. I'll show you that. That's the mixer I'll be using, my KitchenAid Professional. Before you begin, make sure all of your ingredients are at room temperature. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees, and what you see here is 2.5 sticks of butter and the 1 tablespoon of Crisco in the mixer, and I'm about to sift the dry ingredients. So here you see me sifting the 3 cups of flour and that little small handheld sifter. That is 1 measured cup that I'm pouring in that little small sifter. And I'm going to sift all 3 cups. Now I'm about to sift the salt and the baking powder in that same bowl. Here's the baking powder. I'm trying to show you the 1 teaspoon measuring spoon. I'm going to level it off. Sift it through as well. I'm looking at the recipe to make sure I have my amounts accurate. This is the salt that you can't read. Focus in. 1/2 teaspoon. Now you see me start to make a big baker's mistake by pouring that salt over my flour and baking powder, but then I realize the error of my ways and I move, because you never want to mess up your ingredients by accidentally putting in too much salt. I would have spooned it on out though. So here I stopped the mix to scrape down the sides of the mixing bowl. And I apologize about the lighting. And me being out of focus. But you know, I don't mind that. Or out of frame. Or my face anyway. So that sugar in that bowl, I'm about to add to the butter and the Crisco. And with this cake, I don't have the mixer up real high. I think it's only on maybe 2 or 3. My nephew was in town and it was really early in the morning, like 5:30, 6 o'clock. And I didn't want to disturb him. So here I'm mixing the cake flour, the baking powder, and the salt together. I'm cracking the eggs one at a time in a small bowl. And I'm going to add it to the sugar, butter, and Crisco. There is some time lapse here. I did let those things mix fairly well before I started adding the eggs. And remember to always stop and scrape the side of your mixing bowl. Here's egg number 2. And there are 3 more. Make sure to let your egg mix in very well before you add the next one. So here I've shaken the whipping cream up very well. I'm about to measure it so it kind of set and let the little bubbles kind of burst out of it before I add it to the cake. So you only need half a pint, that's about 8 ounces. That's what I'm showing you there in the measuring cup. It's time to scrape the mixing bowl down, the sides of it. Scrape it down again so that all your batter can mix very well together. So here I'm about to add the dry ingredients. That's the cake flour, 3 cups, the baking powder, 1 teaspoon, and a half a teaspoon of salt to the creamed butter, Crisco, sugar, and eggs. I'm going to start with the cake flour mixture, the dry ingredients. Then I'm going to add some whipping cream. Then I'm going to add some more flour, more whipping cream. And between each addition, I'm going to let it mix very well. Alright, here comes about 1/4 of that whipping cream. And remember, it's half a pint, 8 ounces. I'm going to let it mix very well. So it's time for more flour mixture. The dry ingredients. Mix well, then add some more of the whipping cream. Alternate the dry ingredients with the whipping cream until it's all gone. I'm about to add the last of the whipping cream, and then I'll add the remainder of the flour. You start with the flour mixture and end with the flour mixture. So here's a peep into the mixing bowl. You see that I've kept the sides scraped down very well. I'm going to do it again shortly. Here I'm scraping down even the beater. So I'm about to add the 1 tablespoon of vanilla. That's the final ingredient. So what you see next is me sticking my finger into the Crisco shortening can. I'm going to grease this cake pan, this bundt cake pan, very well. You have to do it very well. After I have greased it, I'm going to put some flour in it, and I'm going to beat out the excess. Here I'm trying to give you a good view of what I'm doing. I'm not missing one spot with that Crisco, and it does make a huge difference. My bundt pan is one of the larger bundt pans. This is a lot of cake batter, so you will need a larger pan. If not, do not fill up a smaller pan with it. You don't want it to overflow in the oven and cause a fire and burn. So this is a deep bundt cake pan that I'm using. I realized I didn't get a shot of me putting flour in that cake pan, but just use a teaspoon or a tablespoon to put flour in the bottom and then shake it all around. Make sure you have it covered from top to bottom. Even the inside, try and get as much flour on it as you can. There it is, floured. Shake it out, tap it, the loose flour out of it. So there's a shot of the batter and the cake pan, and now I'm going to pour the batter into the cake pan very carefully. I'm going to spoon it. Sometimes I pour, sometimes I spoon, sometimes I do both. This is one of the best pound cakes I think I've ever had. Leave me a comment below and tell me what you think. If you have one that is your favorite. Let me know what that is as well. There is a little simple frosting that goes with this cake. This is my first time making this cake. My son usually does it, and it is so delicious. Let me know what you think. Just about done. Make sure you scrape all the batter out of there, and then shake the cake pan so that the batter can settle. So here I'm shaking it to make sure that it has settled to the bottom, and the little air bubbles will pop out. I'm going to go around it with a spoon as well and put it in a preheated 350 degree oven for about 55 to 60 minutes. Your oven time may vary. Just make sure you stick a toothpick in it to make sure that it's done. If the toothpick comes out clean, then it should be done. So here I'm sticking a toothpick in it as far as I can to make sure no batter it comes out on the toothpick, which means thumbs up. It is done. And what I didn't show you was the frosting, which is the 1 box of confectioner sugar, the 8 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese, and 1 tablespoon of vanilla mixed up. And you just kind of pour it, glaze it on the cake, and you have one delicious whipping cream pound cake. If you have not liked, shared, subscribed, click your notification bell, please do so. Don't forget to leave me a comment about the cake down below. Thank you. And I'll leave the recipe in the description box. Infinity hugs and kisses.